Well, we've got some new rumored images of the Pixel 4. Oh my god, I thought they learned their lesson with the Pixel 3a. Like, oh, you know what? We should just reside and go back to budget phones, not do anything too over the top and just stick to the basics. Well, the Pixel 4, I guess, doesn't disappoint with the consistency of the Pixel lineup. Should I say it doesn't disappoint, or should I say it consistently does disappoint? Otherwise, I'm just trying to say, like, this is what to be expected from a premium Google smartphone these days. But we'll be talking about all the details OnLeaks has given us and why the Pixel 4 looks so much like the upcoming iPhone 11. Let's begin. So here are the leaked pictures, which, yes, they do look incredibly familiar. Now, I'm not saying exactly that Apple has kind of trademark patented the squarish camera bump in the placement on the back of their phones. Plenty of other smartphone companies have been known for doing that, particularly Huawei for their squarish camera designs on the back. I'm not saying Apple made up this design and they were the first people to do it, but to me it's obvious that Google is moving forward with this design as a legitimate prototype because they know Apple's doing it, right? This has been a well-known design we knew Apple was going to be doing all the way back in January. That's right, that's where OnLeaks first leaked these images saying this is what the triple camera setup on the back of the iPhone was going to look like, and time again we've only had more and more evidence to suggest that it is happening. More rumors coming out to back that up, more case manufacturers coming forward with camera holes on the back being ready for that protrusion. So of course Google's had plenty of time to develop their Pixel, which is coming out a month after the iPhone 11, and it will likely have a very similar camera arrangement and placement. To those of you who are doubting this rumor, I encourage you to look back and think about what Google has done consistently over their past flagship lineup with the Pixel brand. The one thing I think you can count on Google doing is they will follow in Apple's footsteps no matter how much it embarrasses them and makes them look hypocritical. Started with the original Pixel, which form factor wise and even with the aluminum and cell bands on the back, I always thought it kind of looked like an iPhone, except it had to have on-screen buttons in this giant chin with no front-firing speakers, but it looked a lot like an iPhone, so they had to make it, even if it was a very impractical design. But of course, Apple had removed the headphone jack that year, and Google was happy to make fun of them and mock them for it in marketing until the Pixel 2 came around, and then they abandoned the headphone jack, making it look very embarrassing for them, but they had to follow in Apple's footsteps. Then a year goes by, and Apple releases the iPhone 10 with that controversial notch, which at the time, people were very divided on it. Here in 2019, we've kind of accepted it and embraced it, and because Apple made that notch, Google had to move forward with the Pixel 3 with their giant obnoxious notch. Obnoxiousness? Is there a joke in there? Somewhere, you can dig around for it. And it was mocked for days. Everyone laughed at how bizarre and deep and awkward that notch was on the 3XL, even to the point that Google did not show the Pixel 3XL in the entirety of the Google I/O event. When they cite their examples, they always use the Pixel 3 or now the Pixel 3a because they didn't want that notch to be present on stage during this major event. So now, when the awkward thing that Apple's moving forward with is this squarish kind of big triple camera setup on the back of their phone in the top left corner, that of course is how Google is going to follow in Apple's footsteps, no matter how embarrassing it may be. Now, the other leaks we get from this design is that because of the placement of the earpiece sensor, there will not be a camera hole design. So for those of you out there who are hoping that the Google Pixel 4 was essentially going to be a Galaxy S10 but without the curved edges and with a stock Android experience and that crispy camera on the back, no, it looks like they're likely going to be keeping around the notch, or as Ben Geskin has concept on his Instagram, perhaps they will be sticking around with a large forehead in compromise of a smaller chin, which looks quite asymmetrical, but I still think a lot more people would be okay with that design opposed to the big fat notch, because obviously they're going to be wanting to keep the dual camera on the front of the Pixel 4 that they've already introduced on the Pixel 3. It's just now, after Google had already said dual camera, no need with the Pixel 2, now they're going back on their word and saying, well, we said dual camera, no need. How about triple camera? We never said triple camera, no need. Therefore, leapfrogging the criticism, I guess. So Google, I'm not criticizing you for adding more cameras on the back. I'm just saying you could have done that a long time ago. I mean, Apple did it with the iPhone 7, which, by the way, literally came out before the original Pixel. That's how much change we've had over the past few years of iPhones and Pixels. But I'm more critiquing critiquing your marketing department to just not criticize things that you clearly shouldn't be criticizing. Don't be like, oh, that was stupid competition. Oh, you need multiple cameras for features. We don't need multiple cameras. 2019 comes around. Oh my God, what are we gonna do? Maybe we should add some more cameras on the back. That might fix it. It's just called having a plan, you know, longevity. Think about how this is going to backfire down the road, okay? But yes, I'm very interested to see how the Pixel 4 is going to measure up against its competition, but because of the awkward timing that Google always releases the phone, yes, this 2019 smartphone coming out in the last couple months of the year will be shipping with a Snapdragon 855, a Snapdragon chip we've had in the Galaxy S10 for many, many months now. And in case you were wondering, yes, the Galaxy S10 has gotten a whole lot cheaper. Galaxy Note 10 is gonna drop in a couple more months. No headphone jack on that thing, by the way, but I'm sure they're including Galaxy Buds. Either way though, just because they release it so late in the year, it always feels like it's behind in the CPU game. That's right, the currently priced $800 and $900 Pixel 3 phones right now still ship with a Snapdragon 845. May I remind you, the Galaxy S10e ships with a Snapdragon 855, and that starts at $750. Plus it looks like infinitely better. There's no physical fingerprint reader on the Pixel 4 as well, so that also means in-display fingerprint reader, yay! OnePlus 6T has had this for a long time. Galaxy phones have now had this for a long time. But oh, you know Google, they gotta be playing catch up again. So you'll be seeing all kinds of features that third-party Android manufacturers have already done, but now brought to the image quality that's so good on the Pixel 4, which will likely be rocking ultra-wide telephoto mid-range lens if these leaks end up being true. And also because of the speaker grill next to the USB-C port on the Pixel 4, it sounds like they're also going to be ditching front-firing speakers, which personally I'm okay with. I listened to the front-firing speakers on the Pixel 3 XL. I didn't think they sounded very good. The speakers on the Pixel 3a for a $400 phone were perfectly fine, so the fact that they're willing to abandon that, hopefully in favor of thinner bezels or maybe going forward with a notch, but just a much smaller notch, I'm okay with losing front-firing speakers as long as they make a good job taking advantage of the front of that device. But as a whole, I think the Pixel 4 sounds like it's going to be extremely disappointing. And before you come back at me with, well, the iPhones aren't that big an announcement this year, I know, I'm not terribly excited for them either. My excuse is not the iPhone is super exciting, but the Pixel 4 isn't really exciting. Though both are to be expected. Pixel 4 sounds like it's going to be a huge letdown, and I don't think the next iPhone's going to be a huge letdown. It's just going to be incredibly small upgrade. It's going to be, okay, cool, triple cameras, better battery, faster CPU. Thanks, Tim. We didn't need to have an event for that. Plus, there's lots of other Android phones coming throughout the year, so all these features the Pixel 4 is getting have already been experienced on all these other Androids. With the iPhone, at least, you can argue that people won't switch platforms or operating systems, so it's a new triple camera for iOS users, whereas triple camera, in-display fingerprint reader, we've kind of had all that before with previous generation Androids, which are on the same platform anyway. But I mostly think the flagship feature of the Pixel 4 is going to be what we saw that demo of at Google I/O, with the Google Assistant listening to you and doing things on the screen really, really fast. It's supposed to make the touchscreen feel slow just because it's got active listening and it's transcoding the Google Assistant on device, not off of a server. That'll probably ship with the Pixel 4 and it will likely be the coolest part about it. Everything else will be who cares? What do you guys think of the upcoming Pixel 4? Do you think it's going to blow everyone's expectations out of the water or even more disappointment? Let me know what you're thinking by following me over on Twitter or checking out our Discord. This is your Apple Sheep here, and I will see you in the next one.